Welcome, 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 brothers and sisters. Welcome to a new on-live book reading. I am reading through the Orion book written by Wes Penre. As you can see, the title for today is A Game Where Everything Dies and Everyone Loses. And this is exactly what is happening in this world. Many souls are dying and then are being recycled and shoot back in a new body, and then they start all over again. And this is the loop system this world is in. People do not realize that they are on the brink of extinction in actuality, so to say. And it is absolutely not pleasant to say this, but it is the utter reality and truth. If the majority of human souls, of the human soul group, are not waking up to the real deal agendas behind virtual reality slash singularity slash metaverse, then eventually I can already say to you that when you die, you end up in a soul recycle station where your soul is being splintered into billions of fragments and then stitched together with other soul fragments and then being shot back into a new body, and then you start all over again, with also the handicap that you are carrying soul fires of other souls with you, which also explains the whole idea of past lives. But that is a later topic. So I want to say, lovely brothers and sisters, it is about time that you really start to wake up and stop playing this horrific and horrendous game that is being played with the human soul group. This is the reason why I'm reading from this book. This is the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because I care about a lot about my fellow brothers and sisters. I care about the human soul group, and I would love to see many, many, many human souls waking up to the utter reality that no one, no one wins this game. All human souls are in actuality steered into someone's sick-minded war game, sick-minded simulation computer game, so to say. And this someone is a fallen archangel known as Uriel, whom we know better as Lucifer slash En.ki. Um, this being and all his cohorts, known as overlords or overseers, are in togetherness with archons, are luring the majority of human soul group into an agenda that has nothing to do with progressing the human soul group further and to become mature, not only on individual level but also as a group. So each and every human soul and the majority, a huge chunk of the human soul group, is lured into agendas that we need to wake up to. So I start today with reading through some other subtopics of this chapter um, 11, again from the Orion book written by Wes Penre. You can go to the mentioned websites, um, and I would say buy yourselves this book and start reading it. It is loaded with a lot of information. Okay, let us begin. A game where everything dies and everyone loses. In the Matrix, we get born, and from there and on, we are busy dying. To be better said, each and every human soul is programmed for self-destruction. Each and every human soul is programmed not to question. Each and every human soul is programmed to obey. Each and every human soul is programmed to do what the overlords slash overseers or the Khan kings, and thus this group of fallen archangels wants us to do. We need to realize as human souls that we carry programs in us that is telling us that we need to do exactly what the Matrix is demanding from us to do. And it is about time that we overcome these programs. How can you do this? By start questioning things. Questioning things is a very healthy thing to do, because by questioning things, you start to collect information, and through this, you are creating your own conclusion about the world that you are in and about yourself as human soul. So again, in the Matrix, we get born, and from there and on, we are busy dying. Each and every moment of our life is based on making sure that each and every moment a piece of us dies off. One day at a time. It can be quite depressing to look at life with the glass half empty. But it doesn't change things to the better just because we pretend it is something different. The road to freedom is paved with pain, sorrow, sufferings, despair, loneliness, emptiness, poverty, abuse, torture, and sometimes a few glimpses of the fantastic reality that is awaiting in form of sudden epiphanies and elevated feelings. We start living in two worlds: the physical mind body prison and the spirit universe, two extreme opposites. One world leads to inevitable death and the other to eternal life. Despite the courage and hardship required, there are still those who start on the road to freedom and experience all these difficult emotions and situations, but continue regardless. They have seen through the illusion and they know for a fact there is nothing to save in this solid realm of death. So this means that we need to focus on ourselves instead of others, because it is of great importance that you make sure that you, when you die, will not being misled by projected beings that are trying to fool you and steer you into this tunnel of false light. You need to prepare yourselves and um, make the decision to find a hole in the grid so that you finally can leave this matrix system. There is no way of life in this matrix system because everything in this matrix system is based on death and total destruction. There is no way we can change the frequency band of this matrix. It is done from Saturn. Even if we would terminate all the overlords today, this construct of death would still exist within the same frequency band, regardless of the invaders and regardless of us and what we do. Thus, the only solution is to leave the matrix. I am aware that there are good people out there trying to save this earth. This earth cannot be saved, but it is literally impossible because it is a construct of death at its foundation. So the entire foundation is death, is programmed death. And this is something we need to understand. So all these ideas of saving earth and saving this and saving that is out of the question. You cannot save anything, only your own soul. Each and every human soul needs to make the conscious decision. Do you want to leave the matrix, or do you want to end up in the soul recycling machine? And that your soul is being recycled and then in togetherness with other soul fires, stitched together, and then shoot back in a body. And then you can start all over again. But this time the body will be different, because this time the body is then a body that can function in the metaverse. And so then you as soul fire are permanently kept into this artificial body, and you cannot leave anymore. So this it is literally impossible because it is a construct of death at its foundation. We cannot change that to a construct of life. Our 3D bodies are our prison and will always be because they are created that way. As avatars, we are split into many pieces, and each piece is in its own wheels of time, spinning around and around in endless reincarnation cycles. Most, if not all of us, reincarnate um, within our own seed line. So every time you will get born in the same seed line slash family line. We all have been recycled thousands of times since this matrix was set up, and we are still here. Not busy being born, but always busy dying. In approximately 8 years, we experience and learn certain things only to get a memory wipe and start all over again. So, in actuality, we are living a life that is completely useless because we go each time through the same loop and the same things we are doing. So, we're not growing as a soul. We are more and more dying as a soul, each time a bit more. Virtually, the only progress worth mentioning happens through the seed line, i.e., through the inheritance of the DNA from our ancestors, because the soul mind has amnesia. What you contribute with during a lifetime on Earth is then being stored in your seed line's DNA. And it is there as a vague memory, or better said, reminder at best. When you are recycled again into the same seed line a few generations later, but the soul dash mind who contributed with its experiences over a lifetime doesn't remember. It is the DNA of the seed line that propels humankind forward, or in this case, better said, backward. Because if you see closely, and I observed this for more than 20 years, that I see humans living backwards. So humanity is not living forwards, it is living backwards. It doesn't make progression. And if it does, very, very little. By acting on their stored ancestral memories. It should not be this way. On other worlds, progress happens in the mind, and in our case, it should happen in the entire 3 unit composite, which the overlords successfully split in 3 pieces: soul, mind, spirit dash body. When they created 2 genders, and now they are busy creating a lot more genders. So now we are coming to the deeper understanding of this lunacy of creating more genders. So it's all because of the splitting process that they are doing, and they are deliberately doing. And it is very concerning to know that since 2000, there are so many people born claiming to be so called in the wrong body. There's so the level of confusion in this world is dramatically, and it is this whole idea of creating more genders. It makes the confusion even more, and also the chaos. So the overlords uh, are busy creating a lot more genders, disconnecting us even more from spirit. disconnecting us even more from spirit. So now you get the deeper understanding why they are creating so many genders, to make sure that not many of the new generation human beings can connect with spirit. This is already a step further in the dehumanization process. So, disconnecting us even more from spirit if we buy into their nonsense. We were originally androgynous and immortal because of our three-unit complex. But this fallen archangel Uriel slash Lucifer slash en.ki, even though it is just an illusion, split us into two genders through the metaphor of Adam and Eve. So they are, this whole Adam and Eve are in actuality created as a metaphor, which created a disconnection with our own spirit body. When we got immersed into the computer game, the Matrix, this fallen archangel Uriel slash Lucifer slash en.ki, he created a new non-spirit body, Homo sapiens sapiens. And our spirit body is most likely in the Ka, outside the matrix, with our consciousness infested in the simulation. The spirit body is the player, and the avatars in the matrix are our soul dash mind. We have infested in the simulation, thinking soul dash mind is all there is at best. Many people think they are just a meat body. These soul-mind avatars inside the game are then forced into a simulated meat body. This is how we are disconnected from our spirit bodies and just connect with them in flashes, and more so the more we wake up. If we compare the matrix with a binary computer system of ones and zeros, we connect with spirit in the zero state if we are conscious enough to pay attention. So the overlords between life area workers can be between lives, split the soul fires in many pieces, and also insert parts of our minds in all these splits. So even then the mind gets split into many pieces, and then recycle us back into different time periods simultaneously. So this explains why some people have this feeling of a future self and a past self and so a parallel self. We call this vertical time. As explained earlier, they can insert us anywhere on a timeline from a perpendicular angle. So my visualization of this is, for instance, John Smith dies and goes to the BLA, or better known as the between life areas, where his soul is split. One piece of the soul dash mind is then recycled into the same seed line whence he came, the most recent incarnation, while other fractions get inserted elsewhere, perhaps to start a new seed line somewhere. Thus, there can be a population increase. This could also explain the fact that people have seen doppelgangers, a double of themselves in real life. So that could be indeed a soul dash mind piece of indeed yourselves seated in another line. And due to circumstances, you are, or better said, you have been able to meet that other part of you, that other piece of your soul fire and um, mind fire, as described here. So each family usually gets more than one child, and the genetic pool branches out by splitting the soul dash mind. They then have consciousness enough to inhabit all these new bodies. Sometimes there is no soul dash mind available for a newborn, and that may be one reason why some babies are stillborn. So, who born before they get birthed. Time travel, is it possible? Mm, the short answer is yes. If we wish to expand on it, ponder on what we have already learned from this material. We live in a simulation, a computer game. Can you time travel in a computer game? Sure you can, if the rules of the game supports it and if the algorithm allows it. I see no reason why time travel would not be possible in the Matrix. Of course, we must have the knowledge to do so, and when we have that knowledge, it could be done in different ways. We already live in different times because our soul is split. But how do we time travel while we are incarnated? One way to do it is through remote viewing. This is what remote viewers often do. They time travel across the timeline or timelines within the computer game by thinking themselves there, because the game is interactive and constantly changing. The time the remote viewer visits is a subjective time slash reality that is always subjected to change, but it is still time travel. Remote viewing, of course, requires a lot of training while practicing remote viewing. We can also manifest our body features in another time and place if we know how and if we have learned to shape shift. Although it was the programmers, in this case, this fallen archangel, Uriel and his team, who created this simulation with technology. We are the ones running the game's avatars with our consciousness. This means that if we are aware enough of how this game is constructed, we can insert ourselves from between quotation marks above the game in vertical time anywhere in the game. In a game with multiple players of existence and with perceived pasts and futures, we can choose any insert point and go there. From an outside observer's perspective, there is no past and future. It is all happening in the now, just like in a computer game. The past may be inactive for you because you are focusing on a certain time period that you consider present time. But when you shift to the so-called past within the game, you are then focused there, and it becomes your present time from which you create within the game. So important to remember, however, is that regardless of what you create within the Matrix game, you create it for the programmers, comma, the overlords. You never create a thing for yourself. They own the game. And we are just puppets, pawns, to evolve the game in the direction these overlords want. If we derive from that direction, they try to get us on their track again by adding and subtracting to the software, comma, rewriting the algorithm or manipulating our minds so we are steered right. Eventually, they want our spirit and they can potentially get it. How this works and why they want it will be further explained in the next chapter. So, in order not to announce their matrix game to their benefit, we need to exit the game, which also will be discussed. Does the reader see by now that this is not, not our home? This is a trap. This is a trap and a projection based on rules set up by narcissistic and psychopathic GODs, so-called gods. If that is the kind of reality we want to live in, then I suggest we stay here. But if this sounds like a really bad prison, which is run by the inmates, I suggest we leave. The fallen archangel Uriel's matrix also allows a so-called ascension between quotation marks, as we have discussed. The Ra collective, for example, perceives themselves being in the sixth heaven, ascending to the seventh, while the Pleiadians are located somewhere else. Other channeled entities are somewhere on the scale of ascension, and most of them claim to be us in the future. This has always been confusing to most people, including me, before I started thinking in new terms, considering that the past and the future do not exist other than as layers in the computer game, where access to certain times is based on vibration and everything is in actuality now. That you are calling up into your focus slash presence, it is easier to understand how channeled entities can perceive themselves as being in the future compared to us who have not reached that level of the game yet. After all, this is also a time game run from Saturn. Distinction between the physical and spiritual. How common is it with wars out there in the universe? How stable and benevolent is the universe? In the Wes Penre papers, as well as in this book, the Orion book, I have been writing a lot about cosmic wars and conflicts, and it may appear that this is the norm, but it is not. Are there wars among evolving star races? Yes, it happens. Are there wars in the Ka, or better known as the Void, the spirit realm? Yes, it happens. In fact, the two are related. Each star race is different. Some are warlike, while others are more peaceful. However, they bring that into the Ka if they choose to leave their physical world before they have evolved enough not to create problems. Most star races are aware or not developing to become creators themselves. It's one of the goals for all souls in the long run. Once they are creators, even the warlike races must have become peaceful, or they would not be able to tune into the creative part of spirit, which is the divine feminine. What happened to us was unique. The Tiamat experiment played out in the Ka, not in the physical world. For the first and only time, there was a civil war within the royal family court, and some archangels in cahoots with alien races in the Ka created an alliance and attacked their own court. That eventually brought the conflict to our solar system, and Tiamat was destroyed. It was not until after that the entire experiment was brought down into the physical realm. After this, Archangel Uriel created the simulation in a restricted part of the physical universe, the visible light spectrum part. So we started out in the Ka and were cast down into matter by the overlords, where they set our destiny. That was when more and more warlike behavior started spreading among humans, of course instigated by En.Ki and the Khan kings, but usually played out by us. So the GODs taught us warfare. Had we not been spirited to begin with, we would now have been in a situation where we must start from scratch, like other star races when they are born. Fortunately, we do have spirit, so when we leave, we can return to the spirit realm and take up our creator creating status or status of creator again. We will no longer be part of the conflicts and wars of the physical realm and lower spirit realm. We can exist on a higher level in the Ka, where we can move freely and in peace, and we will be able to create freely. Therefore, we must distinguish between the physical and the spirit realm. In the physical realm, we are encapsulated inside a what is also called cosmic egg, in our case on a planet, and we develop as a soul group. When we leave the planet, we are in the nanoverse, also known as the Ka, and we are no longer dependent upon each other as a soul group. This doesn't mean we won't have anything to do with each other once we leave. We just have more choices what we can do. Indeed, we have full free will with no strings attached. Is simulation a bad thing? Now we understand better what the physical worlds are and how they are created. They are what is called containers for evolving newborn star races. So the galaxies we see from our 4% viewpoint are physical islands in the Ka slash void or realm, spiritual realm, containing cosmic eggs between brackets, stars and planets that will hatch one day. When a star race is ready to meet the real cosmos, for us it would be the invisible spirit realm. In the center of developed galaxies is the very bright galactic center, also known as the womb of the mother, as the Pleiadians call it, meaning this is the central fire from where souls in particular galaxy take their energy. This is also where star and soul fire are breathed out by the mother goddess, the primordial, what is known as dragon, because her breath is a breath of fire. So there comes the whole idea of dragon from. Remember that stars and planets and all the other physical bodies are alive, all in their own right, because they are made out of soul fire. Dash Sophia's fire, the divine feminine and mother goddess. Each star system has its own star race or star races in development. It is difficult to imagine how vast the physical universe is and how much life and how much diversity there is out there. Still, we only see 4% of the entire universe. Perhaps there are readers who think it is off putting that the physical worlds are just simulations and projections created with technology. But it is a really, but is it a really a bad thing? It is similar to a baby in a womb, a simulated program where souls learn and practice before they are ready to meet the real universe and become creators themselves. However, the Tiamat experiment was meant to change the entire universal game. No more physical simulations created with technology. but instead created entirely from the creator, uh, or better said, from the minds of the creators with no technology involved. And on such worlds, new, between quotation marks, star races would evolve. That would be in the Ka and not in the physical realm. Creator gods of physical versus spiritual worlds. So creator gods of physical versus spirit worlds. In the Wes Penre papers, in videos on forums and in articles, I have talked a lot about being creator gods and what that means. But one reason I write this book, besides including new information I have gathered over the years since the Wes Penre papers, is to better clarify and collect otherwise outspread information in the Wes Penre papers, perhaps being difficult to put in a clear context because of the quantity of information in them. Now we hopefully have a clearer and more concise picture in one single volume. Being a creator god in the Ka can mean different things, and it is up to the individual three-unit composite to choose according to their own preferences. We can be a creator of physical worlds and populate them with star races and then become the overseers of that star system, learning how to do it with our mind and with technology, respectively. We can also be creator gods within the Ka and create whatever we like there with our minds, making it manifest immediately in the spirit realm. We can even create entire worlds that way, like Q did in Star Trek. He is a perfect example of a creator god in space, i.e., the Ka, the cosmic waters, and he could transport himself anywhere, including into Enterprise. Mocking himself up as Q, he shapeshifted using his soul fires. In one episode, he created a complete planet to which he transported the Star Trek crew, who thought they were in the physical world on a physical planet, and they started exploring it. Eventually, it turned out to be something Q created with his mind, making it just as real as any physical world. When his, between quotation marks, practical joke was over, he dismantled his creation and the crew was back on their physical spaceship. That was an excellent show off how it is to be a creator god. Realize that even the physical worlds in Orion are in the Ka. There are two different kinds of creations in the Ka when it comes to creating worlds. The physical worlds, which are simulations, often bleeding through into the spectrum of visible light, the 4% universe, but also existing beyond that spectrum. Then we have another type of creation where soul minds who have gained spirit can create worlds in their minds without technology. If technology is used, it is very sparse. These worlds are not isolated to the spectrum of visible light, so they are therefore the 21%, so 21% universe of creation we humans cannot see when inside our simulation. The remaining 75% is the cosmic water in which nothing is yet created. So now the human soul group is stuck in this fallen Archangel Uriel's matrix projection, and on top of that we have also inherited his mind, and he has incorporated ours now to fulfill his great work of the ages. There is one step left for this fallen Archangel Uriel, and that is to transfer us back into the Ka, where we belong, i.e., into the nanoverse. That's how Wes Penre is calling it. But he won't just let us free there. He is going to release us on his own terms, continuing the ancient cosmic war he once started, now in vengeance mood, and thus he is having his so-called chosen elite, or better known as elite, create the metaverse and the singularity with Orion technology, which will bring us back into the what is called nanoverse, the spirit universe slash Orion slash the Ka slash the ether. Therefore, he is being busy slowly evolving us just enough and manipulating us for millennia into accepting the path toward the singularity. Think about it. What is metaverse? It is a simulation, isn't it? A simulation within the simulation. So we are living in a main simulation, and the metaverse is a simulation in the main simulation. The matrix we are living in right now is just a forerunner to what this fallen archangel Uriel has planned since he created the second construct, between brackets Atlantis. But his plans were interrupted by Orion when they started Noah's flood to save humankind from being trapped in a new matrix. Metaverse is the last step before he, this fallen archangel Uriel, can execute his final plan, which is also how he planned the destiny of humankind, recorded on his own tablets of destiny. This is the false destiny humankind now is busy self-fulfilling by moving into the singularity. So this is very interesting. And with this said, I have already come to the end of this chapter. I will proceed with chapter 12 the next time, which is titled Becoming One with the Creator. And one of the subtopics is they need us. So this fallen archangel and all his cahoots and overlords, archons, and others whom are working for him, they need us, but we do not need them at all. We need to remember, lovely brothers and sisters, that we are far more than they are. We are gifted with spirit. They are not. They are a group of fallen archangels, archons, fallen angels who have lost their abilities of creating. They cannot create. That is why they need us. We need to start placing ourselves above them and need to realize that we are far more than they are. And that is why we can read in the book of Genesis this sentence that the angels are jealous of us. Why? Because we have spirit. They lack spirit. We need to wake up and to remember that we are far more than we are now are. We have been deliberately degraded to the situation that we are now in. And we need to remember that we are a creation of the divine feminine, the mother goddess herself, the creatrix Sophia. We have been taught a inverted and reversed history about the existence of this world and about our own existence. We need to wake up and stop participating in this horrendous end plan. It doesn't lead us to anywhere, only death. And this whole idea of this golden age and whatever, it is not for us, lovely brothers and sisters. That is the golden age for these fallen archangels, fallen angels, and their archons, and their other overseers and cohorts. For them, it will be a golden age, not for us. This is something you need to realize and wake up to it. That is why I present you all this information, because time is running out in a certain way. So we need to wake up and we need to remember that we are far more than we are. In actuality, we are such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful human spirits, human beings. We carry the love of the Mother Goddess. We are created to make a change in the universe. But now, the star races do not want us really back because we have become so distorted and they have done such a horrific things to our soul by inventing this soul recycling machine in which they falsely trick us in through this tunnel of false light. And lovely brothers and sisters, the more we start to educate ourselves in topics such as this and narcissism, we are creating holes in our inner matrix because the matrix is also existing in us. And the more holes we create in our inner creatrix, in our inner matrix, I mean, so the outer matrix also will have a lot of holes, which creates opportunities for us human souls to escape forever this horrific matrix construct, this prison which is being created and has been created by this fallen archangel Uriel, whom we better know as Lucifer. So he's not a light bringer, he's a light dimmer. We need to see this. And all these sci-fi movies and teleseries, they have shown us all this. But they bring deliberately every piece of truth information in such a way that we do not see it at first hand. So we are then conditioned by saying, oh, it's just a movie. No, it's not. All that Hollywood has given to us contains bits and pieces of truth, but in a way that you need to really see it. You need to question each and every movie you see and ask yourself, okay, what is the information that they in actuality were presenting to us? And the same with teleseries. All these series that are being presented through such a horrific channel as Netflix, you need to question all these series. You need to ask questions. What is it in actuality, what they are telling us? And then you make your own decision and conclusion. And if you have found out that the information is not in your best interest of your soul progress, then you can make a decision and say, you know what? I'm going to leave this matrix. I am going to find me a hole in the grid, in the matrix grid, so I can finally and forever escape this horrendous matrix system. And please go to the website where I have created a page dedicated to Wes Penre, where you can find pictures of book covers, click on it, and you will be redirected to the web page of Wes Penre on Amazon. And then you also can find a book that is all about this singularity. And also you will find a book, How to Escape the Matrix. And he gives information to us. So please go visit and go visit Wes Penre's videos.com and wespenry.com site. Go scroll over it and go start seeing videos, read the information that is presented for free. You can also download for free PDF material so that you can read it. And I also have placed on this web page, Wes Penre, also free to download PDFs about several topics. And one of them is also about this singularity. So please inform yourselves. Now it is still available, and now the internet is still available, because we do not know when these fallen archangels and their cohorts are deciding to take this off. All right. With this said, I have come to the end of this live book reading. Thank you so much for listening to it. Thank you for tuning in to one of the channels, Rumble and Facebook and YouTube. Thank you for being there. Thank you for listening. Thank you for spending your precious time to listen to this information. It is not about me. It is all about the information I pass forward unto you. I love you. I love the human soul group. I love the human souls. I care about my fellow brothers and sisters. And it hurts my heart to see how many are still in a utter state of avoidance and denial and sleep. All right. I wish you all a beautiful, joyful day, and filled with a lot of love, wisdom, revelations, and knowledge. And let us, as last, listen to a beautiful piece of music created by Ben Sound. Tomorrow. Lovely brother, I see you.